The story of the Danish settlers in Estonia during the 13th century is a fascinating chapter of medieval history, marked by conquest, cultural interaction, and resilience in the face of resistance. Following the Danish conquest of northern Estonia in 1219 under King Valdemar II, the region became a key part of Denmark's expansion in the Baltic Sea. But this new territory was far from pacified, as local resistance and cultural differences presented significant challenges for the settlers. The Danish conquest of northern Estonia. The conquest began with a pivotal moment at the Battle of Lyndanisse, modern-day Tallinn, in 1219. According to legend, the Danish flag, the Dannebrog, is said to have fallen from the heavens during this battle, inspiring the Danish forces to victory. After their triumph, the Danes established control over northern Estonia, making Tallinn a central stronghold and a key hub for their Baltic ambitions. To consolidate their power, the Danish crown encouraged settlers, including nobles, clergy, merchants, and peasants, to migrate to the newly acquired territory. These settlers were tasked with administering the land, spreading Christianity, and integrating the region into Denmark's feudal system. However, the situation on the ground was fraught with difficulties. Resistance from local Baltic tribes, the native Estonian tribes, who were predominantly pagan at the time, fiercely resisted Danish rule. The conquest had been a brutal affair, and the local population deeply resented the imposition of foreign authority, new religious practices, and feudal obligations. Uprisings and rebellions became a recurring feature of life in Danish-ruled Estonia. One of the most notable rebellions occurred in 1223, when the native tribes launched a coordinated uprising against Danish and German occupiers across the region. This rebellion saw the temporary expulsion of foreign forces from several strongholds, including Tallinn. Although the Danes eventually regained control with the support of German crusaders, the revolt underscored the persistent hostility of the local population. Challenges for the settlers. The Danish settlers faced numerous challenges as they tried to establish a stable presence in Estonia. The harsh Baltic climate, unfamiliar terrain, and limited resources made daily life difficult. Furthermore, the constant threat of rebellion meant that settlers had to remain vigilant and rely on fortified strongholds for safety. Culturally, the settlers found themselves in a land vastly different from their homeland. The Estonian tribes had their own languages, traditions, and social structures, which often clashed with the feudal and Christian norms introduced by the Danes. Efforts to convert the local population to Christianity were met with resistance, as many Estonians clung to their pagan beliefs. To maintain control, the Danish administration implemented a system of manorial estates, granting lands to Danish nobles who in turn imposed feudal obligations on the local peasantry. This system, while effective in asserting authority, deepened the resentment of the native population as it disrupted traditional ways of life and placed heavy burdens on the local communities. The role of Tallinn, known as Reval in medieval times, became the focal point of Danish rule in Estonia. Strategically located on the Gulf of Finland, it served as a key trading hub and military stronghold. The Danes fortified the city, establishing a castle and a cathedral as symbols of their authority. Tallinn also became an important center for the spread of Christianity, with churches and monasteries playing a central role in the Danish colonial project. Despite the challenges, Tallinn thrived as a trading center, attracting merchants from across the Baltic region and beyond. Its integration into the Hanseatic League in the 14th century further boosted its economic significance, even as the countryside continued to experience unrest. Legacy of Danish rule. Danish rule in Estonia lasted until 1346, when the territory was sold to the Teutonic Order. While the Danes struggled to maintain control, their influence left a lasting legacy. The introduction of Christianity, feudal structures, and urban centers like Tallinn shaped the region's development for centuries to come. The Danish flag, the Dannebrog, remains a potent symbol in Estonia, commemorating the complex history between the two nations. The story of the Danish settlers in 13th century Estonia is one of conquest, adaptation, and resilience. It reflects the challenges of medieval colonial expansion and the enduring resistance of native populations striving to preserve their identity and autonomy.